Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Soul Brothers with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you guys into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to teach you about the latest and greatest that's going on Solana so that you never run out of fun stuff to talk about with the homies. Happy 2025, Simon. Holy shit. This is going to be an amazing year.
Man, everyone is so bullish. Everyone is so positive. I love it right now. I'm kind of I like healthy, how do you say, healthy pessimism, because otherwise you have your expectations set so high. So I think my idea of 2025 is going to be lots of opportunities for both pain and success. So I think it's going to be a crazy year. And there's going to be a lot of things you can fuck up and a lot of things you can do right. Which means it's all about choices and decisions we make this year. But the opportunities will be there. And if we navigate those waters correctly, I think 2025 is going to be a good year. What's your take for the coming year overall? Not personally for your life, that's always a bit different, but for crypto market, for economy and all these things, what do you see coming here?
I actually think that we might see the flippening this year of Solana and Ethereum. I think it is entirely possible. Yeah, I know that's an insane prediction, but I think with the rate of adoption that Solana is getting, as well as the amount of interest that we're getting from OG devs on the Ethereum, from the kind of EVM side, I just think it's inevitable. Well, first of all, I think that flipping is inevitable. I think it's a matter of when, right? And might not everyone might agree with that, but furthermore, I think it's coming this year. So I'm quite excited for what we have coming.
Let's take a look where we are right now. Solana is at market cap of 103 billion, while Ethereum is at 439 billion, which is not too far away. It's like it's a 4x basically. That's what we would need from here, So
right.
It is I say it's a very brave prediction that you're making there. But I'm curious to see how it's going to play out, because basically what needs to happen is Solana needs to grow at a much faster rate in terms of market cap than Ethereum to make this happen, right? So we literally have to compete with it. I think from my point of view, to put some perspective on it, Ethereum has still the much larger network effects because it has a big time advantage. It was there early. It got more people engaged. Ethereum has the advantage in terms of growth of having all these L2 teams, which is obviously a two-sided coin, because on the one side, it's the biggest disadvantage of the whole ecosystem. It makes Ethereum fucking complicated, and putting so many layers on an ecosystem, makes interoperability a mess. And then the good thing is, though, that all these L2 teams, they all have their bags, their funding, their motivation and ambition. They all drive the overall growth of the ecosystem. I think that's why Ethereum chose the kind of the roll-up centric roadmap that they're on right now, which means we want more L2s, as many L2s as possible, because it kind of all channels into growth of the base layer. But here's my last point: we don't know yet exactly how it translates in ETH, the coin value, right? How does it translate into market cap growth? We don't know that yet. So it remains interesting. I don't know how it's going to play out, but let's see if it's going to happen in 2025, maybe 2026. I think overall, maybe we should also take a quick look at the markets where we are right now. So I think currently, the way it looks on the Solana chart right here is that we are in a small kind of. We were in the small correction here, starting on the 19th of December, the launch date of our token of Solid. Basically, we pulled out all the liquidity from Solana into our token, which is not what happened, but it was just timing. So we peaked at 264, which is literally the all-time high. Like we touched on it. Did we break it? Kinda, but not. It was not a sophisticated break. So we're in this correction now, and we are currently trading at $214 on the 6th of January. And from my point of view, what is going to happen is that we are currently in a new upside wave. So I think we're going to see some new higher prices right now. It's not going to go in a straight line as always. So in the short term chart, I am looking right now for one more high in this current structure from 176, 174 up to around 230-ish. So I'm looking for one more high before we correct a little bit and then push a bit higher. Those are my ideas for how I'm looking at Solana right now. I remain in long positions currently, in full transparency. So I'm looking for higher prices, at least in the midterm here. So I keep those open. What is very, very interesting currently is the Bitcoin dominance chart as well. So that's the last thing I want to touch on here as well in this kind of macro section or chart section of the podcast. We did see the big retrace below the 55%. And well, we're now in a new retrace. We tested upper levels again, but were rejected. So Bitcoin didn't manage to get overall or keep growing compared to altcoins. And we're now in the next leg down. So my prediction as well here is that this leg down right now is going to unfold, breaking the lower boundary here in a similar fashion as it did in previous markets as well, where we saw all-time highs at a certain moment, up to 70% Bitcoin dominance, and then we're dropping down sharply in the so-called altcoin season of the bull market, which is still yet to happen because we haven't really seen that yet. So if this metric goes further down, if Bitcoin dominance decreases further, there shall be an inflow into more of the other assets like altcoins. And then actually maybe one more thing, the Tether dominance, one more last metric for sure now, also testing lower resistances right now. So what that means, if the stablecoin basically dominance in the overall market, with Tether being the largest one, going down, we might be looking at circulation from liquidity into cryptocurrencies. That is at least an assumption. The Bitcoin dominance chart is nothing really you can put a lot of kind of TA on it, like technical analysis on those dominance charts doesn't really work. But at least you can see trends and tendencies. And right now we are in a leg down again, where it could play out that we will see more inflows into tokens. And if this is not Bitcoin, as Bitcoin dominance is going down as well, then it shall be altcoins. So I think my prediction that we see an altcoin season soon. Is that something that you feel comfortable kind of also confirming, or is that something you think will take a bit more time? Just looking.
I'll auto confirm the shit out of that. It's obvious. Altcoin season is coming very soon. But the real question is what types of altcoins, right? There's all sorts of flavors now that just didn't exist in the market in the last cycle, right? So are we talking about DeFi protocol tokens? Are we talking about classic blue chip memes? Are we talking about new AI meta tokens? I mean, there's so many different ways the liquidity can flow, and so and what we see is it can be quite cyclical, right? So it almost kind of shuffles from, like, let's say Bonk over to, like, let's say Cloud from Sanctum, and then all the liquidity goes into like new AI tokens, and like each time there seems to be its own mini bull and bear market, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it last year with memes. I think now when we say alts, the mindshare for AI agents and agent tokens is just going parabolic right now. We've seen it in the past weeks. We touched on the topic already a few times. If I go to my Twitter feed right now, and you guys are all feeling the same probably, there's a lot of AI meta going on right now. And I think one tweet I saw yesterday as well was that at least a few of the top 10 Pump.Fun tokens with largest market caps that were launched in the past 3 months. So not in the past weeks. Actually, it's been a while since those agent tokens come out. Quite a chunk, I think it was 4 or 5 tokens from the top 10. They are all agents. So that means something, I guess. So there's something going on, and builders on Solana are seeing that as well. We're not only seeing the potential for a new meme category. I think what we see on Solana in the builder circle is the potential for, well, AI agents disrupting existing technologies, which is the actual interesting thing that we should talk about. And maybe let's touch on this, what we saw from Yash Agarwal yesterday or 2 days ago when he posted this. What are we looking at, and who's Yash? I think you have a relation with him as well, or history.
Yeah. So first of all, hey Ash, if you're watching this, Good to see you again. So Yash is he's done a lot of stuff in the space. To his like kind of Solana resume credit, he has been an OG Super Team India member. So I mean, in that sense, he's actually an original Super Team member. I think even before they had Super Team India specifically, right?
Right.
He also worked with Solana Foundation with Anna Yuan. I have a rich man's laugh. Thank you, Rustam.
That made me smile. I had to put it up.
Yeah. Thanks for that, buddy. But Yash also worked with Solana Foundation under Anna Yuan. Anna Yuan obviously is the founder of Perenna, which is a stablecoin liquidity protocol specifically focused on USD stablecoins. So I actually met Yash as a stablecoin researcher. That's how I knew him. And he has legendary status within the Super Team community, because whenever Yash enters a bounty, like, he's going to win it, right? And in fact, that's how I met him, he just through all of his writing on stable coins. But he has since graduated to do all sorts of things for the Solana ecosystem. He's actually more running his own projects now, and a recent project that he had just started was Send. And so Send at the time was promoting Blinks, and now the Blink meta has kind of died down a little bit, quite frankly. And Send has pivoted to more of an AI focus. And so this is his latest initiative, is working on this AI hackathon. If I know the story correctly, I think that they organized this hackathon in less than 2 days, which like blows my fucking mind. Like literally from idea to like we're announcing the hackathon was like they got it all done within a couple of days. So that's just goes to show how capable Yash and Irfan and all the friends that we know over at Send AI are doing. So but you read this, so you want to tell us more about some of the conclusions of the AI hackathon that they threw?
I mean, I think this is more like a personal conclusion from Yash, really, that he puts out. So some of his own thoughts and some of his own critique as well to what happened, like just reflecting on what he's seeing. And the critique is basically mostly towards tokens associated with agents, right? So he does say that he's incredibly bullish on crypto and AI agents. Bottom line, that's what he says at the end. And it's absolutely a $100 billion plus industry in the making. Also his words right now. So he remains bullish, obviously, on the overall industry. And also the stats from the AI hackathon itself are quite bullish. 40,000 plus visitors in 1 week on their website. And every 2 to 3 hackathon projects launched a $50 million token in market cap. And then, every day, 2 to 3 hackathon projects launched $50 million tokens. And now they are cumulatively worth more than 500 million in market cap. So what he's saying is, unintentionally, Solana AI Hackathon has become an AI token discovery platform. And I think that's something that he didn't really intend to do. It's just something we do in crypto, right? When new metas launch, when new narratives come up, we're trying, even if we're honest builders and genuine builders, we need money to realize our dreams and our visions. And I think that's what people are trying to do. There might be people, obviously, as always, trying to make a quick buck. But even the genuine builders are launching tokens now because they see the success of it, and they see that you can bootstrap your protocol quickly by launching a bullish narrative token, which is AI right now, right? So here's the playbook, what he discovered, or what he just basically found out during the hackathon, what people ended up doing. Submit a project in the hackathon and appear in the Solana AI Hackathon project directory. Step number 1. Step number 2, use Solana AI Hackathon and Send AI for credibility, made by AI Hackathon and so on. Then launch a token, get sniped or promoted by whales and KOLs, probably both. Boom, you've got a 5 to 50 million market cap launch. And then Degens ape, thinking they've got a potential 100x project coming out of a hackathon by aping in early. So yeah, it's a perfect speculation ground. So it's basically just like meme coins again, you know what I mean? Just literally, with a new meta, in a tech kind of dress, like they put it instead of a squirrel, now we have an AI agent. But it's at the end of the day, it's the same shit, because what happens is that the people who launch these tokens, they can't really commit to their vision and their promises that they do. So they usually just show quick Git demos. Again, that's literally what Yash was writing about. They show quick demos of their potential product, which is a demo that is not feasible to realize in the short term. So they won't be able to deliver on their promises in the next 6 months by a high chance. And they still talk about it now to pump the token, which means, if you think about it, dump at in some time, because they won't be able to maintain the attention they get. So bottom line, I think, his take is, just don't launch tokens if you don't need it. Don't launch tokens for the sake of launching them. That's what he says. And remember, tokens are an asset technically, but also a huge liability emotionally. I can confirm that. And also, none of these community or KOLs or cabals will help you when the price goes down. You're alone, right? That's what he says as well. Again, I can confirm that. And so it's completely fine to bootstrap capital to build. Just don't be in a hurry to write the meta if you aren't prepared for it.
Yeah. I kind of feel two ways about what we're seeing with AI tokens on Solana. So on the one hand, like let's look at it charitably. Crypto gives access to funding and financial incentives that AI agents haven't had access to in the past. And so like this can really accelerate the tech, right? Because as people start to understand, like, oh, there are really easy ways to monetize and also allow the AI agent to get access to funds. And then there's a whole universe of interesting use cases, right, that can be released. So that's good, right? And I think good for the world in general is acceleration of AI agents and providing the financial, I don't want to call it infrastructure, but like kind of the nest egg that you need to propel that research forward, right? But the other thing though is I'm so surprised how low the bar is for narratives, right? Like anybody can spin a narrative. I just find it very hard to understand why so many investors, are taking their very hard-earned cash or maybe meme cash and, putting 10, 20, 30, 50K into tokens that very clearly, like if you know anything about, running your own company and what it really takes, I'm surprised there isn't more due diligence. I just feel like the standard. Yeah, the bar is so low. So if you're watching this and you have a low bar, increase that bar, please. We need more high quality projects, more signal, less noise.
No, that's what it is. Crypto is so much noise since ever, right? Because it's an attention play, right? But I don't really, like, eventually, let's not give too many shits, because like there's natural selection, right? It's just it's a nature law. So they like everything that's shit is gonna wash out, and everything that has substance will remain. That's how it plays out, right? Just make sure, if you're an investor in this market, to kind of keep that in the back of your head when you make decisions of where you put your money. Anyway, what else is bullish? What we're looking at,
Well, I think that it's perfect to talk about the state of perps on Solana. Obviously, this is Hyperliquid, which it's its own. It's an EVM, right? It's a layer 2, if I'm not mistaken, or is it its own standalone L1?
Hyperliquid should be a standalone. Let me just check quickly. But yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, but my point being is that obviously, like, perps are going absolutely insane on Solana. You have so many teams that are working on it. Jupiter has their own version of perps. Flash Trade also does GMX style perps all with Jupiter. Ranger has come out, which is like a perps aggregator. Shout out to my boy Fatu. That whole team is doing a great job. Drift obviously has perpetuals as well. Flash Trade, which we met the team over in Dubai. Lovely people. I mean, like, so many high quality builders working on perps. And if I'm not mistaken, the highest amount of volume in December, is that what you said?
Yeah, so that's basically what this article told me when I went through it. So basically we saw an all-time high of on-chain future trading compared to centralized exchange trading, right? So I think it was 10% of the market being traded on chain, with Hyperliquid being, I think, almost like three quarters or something responsible of that growth.
Wow.
So Hyperliquid is swallowing a lot of that volume. So yeah, it is an L1. It's a standalone L1, by the way. And their pitch was always to be everything then SEX is just on chain, right? So everything is centralized exchanges just on chain. And their exchange, Hyperliquid BitX, it runs on the Hyperliquid L1, which is a purpose-built blockchain using the Tendermint SDK. And yeah, so I think they are doing a good job at bringing liquidity on chain. So that's pretty cool.
If you'll allow me, I'm going to speak ignorantly just for a second. So quick disclaimer, I don't know much about Hyperliquid. Obviously, if I can't distinguish if it's its own L1 or an EVM, that should give you a good sense of how much my opinion is worth. But that being said, speaking to folks who are in the know and do work on perps, there is a concern that Hyperliquid might be the FTX or the Terra Luna of Recycle. Not that there's any evidence of this. I don't want to suggest that there's any on-chain evidence out there that's like that. It's just that the way that they settle, it seems to be a black box, right? And it is very centralized in that way, and that there is a case to be made, for a paranoid person that maybe they're able to be so efficient, just like FTX, because they're doing a lot of perhaps I don't know what to call this, shady settlement on the back end because Hyperliquid, to be very clear, is super fucking performant. I've used it myself, and compared to some other perps products that I've used, it's amazing, right? So just from a pure product experience, just like FTX, it was like best in class, right? You're not supposed to say stuff like that and make those types of comparisons, but and this isn't even a warning, because again, I don't really know, but it's just interesting to see the sentiment. It doesn't seem to be FUD. I mean, it is literally FUD, but it doesn't seem to be jealousy, but more kind of like a genuine concern that perhaps Hyperliquid might have a few skeletons. We'll see.
Yeah. Let's keep an eye on the project. I think for now, what I can say is they did a great job at their strategy overall, their community first strategy. I love that personally as a founder. So I remain bullish on the product, but I don't know the exact tech stack. So I think maybe we can get someone who's very familiar with it to give us a quick rundown on Hyperliquid that knows more about the tech behind it than we. Eno is a permabull, says happy pirate GMC. And he also says lower the bar pies. Where so thanks Steve for your valuable inputs, and GM Solana ID Mr. Ohm, good to see you as well, and obviously Cyber Brother, good to see you as well. Thanks for always tuning in and doing, my man. Also thanks for being here. Good to have you guys. 100 people in the live stream on this beautiful for me Monday morning, for Eno Monday afternoon. Is that correct? Should be an afternoon.
Something like that.
Kind of. Yeah, late afternoon. Cool. What do we got next?
So our very good friend Dean, who is, just incredible human being, by the way. Not only does he speak 7 or 8 different languages, but also he is frequently contributing to the Solana ecosystem with random bits of code aside from his own protocol. He's also a very accomplished cryptographer, from what I understand. And so, now that there's this concern with the release of new quantum computing chips, he created a token vault, right? That can differentiate. I don't know if it's the signature per se, but there are some characteristics of, let's say, a transaction done by, let's say, a quantum chip, as opposed to a valid transaction by a normal user. I'm not a cryptographer. I do not know what artifacts to look for, but ostensibly that there are things that you can look at to differentiate between transaction requests by a quantum computer as opposed to transaction requests by a real person. So no, I've had people ask me has this been tested yet? Obviously not, right? But it's still. And he's also a chief cryptography researcher and listens to Autism music. Yes, I agree, Steve. Sorry, I'm looking at the comments right now, so appreciate that, Steve. So yeah, but this fucking blew up, right? And then people started making meme tokens out of them. It was kind of insane.
Yeah, of course. Oh, everything that has substance gets a meme token. It's ridiculous. From some random dude somewhere in the world, it's trying to make a quick buck on it. Anyway, Solana Winternitz Vault. It's there. It's basically there already. It has an MIT license. and it also has a GitHub that's publicly available. I think you're showing it right now, yeah. So people can definitely check out Dean Little on Twitter to get the GitHub as well, and then also have a read of what the Winternitz vault essentially is, which is a quantum-resistant Lamport vault that leverages Winternitz one-time signatures, WOTS, for security. Makes a lot of sense, right? So the vault implements a truncated KEK 256 hash, offering 224 bits of pre-image resistance. I have no idea what I'm reading, but I also did study computer science, so that might be the reason. But what I see is that we are getting quantum resistant on the Solana blockchain, which is progress, and we need that because quantum computing is making leaps. We talked about it before. Google is making leaps, Microsoft is making leaps. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the quantum space, and we need to make sure that we counterbalance this with security and safety nets, that our beloved blockchains stay as safe as they are today when it comes to cryptographically safety. Yeah, pretty cool. Thanks, Dean and team, for working on these things.
Yeah,
not gonna lie, good stuff.
I think next thing that we have coming up that's actually really, really sick, and also related to Dean, by the way, because Dean wears a lot of different hats. Not only is he just contributing randomly to the ecosystem on just side quests, right? But he's also one of the core team members for Zeus. And Zeus just released Apollo, which I'm pulling it up right now. So they released Apollo, what is it? Mainnet version 1. So super excited for them. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what they're doing with Apollo V1?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's the first DApp on the Zeus network, as I understand, and it is building on the Zeus network. Obviously, Zeus came into life in the past year. They also been on the Jupiter Launchpad, launched the token over there, and yeah, they're just helping to get Bitcoin liquidity on Solana. And now with Apollo, we have a DApp live on Zeus that helps us to do exactly that. The app is live. You can already use it. You can connect your Solana wallet to it. Actually, if you want, you can also click on the Apollo profile up there, and just go to the might be this one. Yeah, you can use this one. Launch the app. I think there was a link below that. So yeah, you can launch the app on Gaia.apollo by Zeus.app. The link is a bit clunky in my opinion, but you can find it on their Twitter, obviously. And yeah, as you can see, and if you're having the video in front of you as well, they have a good kind of some instructions how to use it. You connect the Solana wallet, you connect your Bitcoin wallet, and you can basically get some Bitcoin liquidity in there to receive ZBTC. And yeah, so I think it's a pretty good thing to see more innovation on the BTC/Solana kind of layer that has been, kind of hyped last year. I would say there was a bit more noise around it, and then it kind of cooled off a bit. But yeah, I think it's good to see the first permissionless Bitcoin liquidity terminal on Solana.
Yeah. What do you make of these projects that are bringing Bitcoin to Solana? Like, what are the as a Bitcoin OG, right? Like, what are some of the pros and cons you could see for just holding native Bitcoin? Which I mean, most people aren't going to be holding native Bitcoin, like especially retail. They're just going to be, I mean,
some tech.
They'll be holding it in some sex, some representation, or like some ETF, right?
ETF,
so it's almost like a representation of Bitcoin than the actual. Someone else is custodying the Bitcoin, of course, right?
Yep.
But this is like another layer on top of that, right? Not only it's yes, it is decentralized, but it's on a completely different network. So I'm just wondering, what do you see, or what are the advantages of having like WBTC or ZBTC, all these different kind of ported versions of Bitcoin on Solana?
Well, it brings more liquidity for DeFi at the end of the day. That's bottom line what's happening here. It brings new liquidity into Solana ecosystem for DeFi applications that can use ZBTC now in their in their ecosystem. So we might see the ZBTC token in future, I hope, on some of these Solana native DeFi platforms. where you can engage in all kinds of decentralized finance activities on chain. So that's a net positive for everyone. Bitcoin holders have a utility for their Bitcoin. Solana blockchain has more TVL because they literally have a 1-to-1 ratio of BTC and ZBTC once you do the kind of bridging at the end of the day. What happens here, obviously, disadvantage is you're adding a lot of risks on top of your Bitcoin holding, right? You're adding all the smart contract risks and DeFi risks with those protocols. Zeus network has smart contracts that need to be working properly. Apollo needs to work properly. And then if you use the ZBTC and put it in a DeFi platform on Solana, that platform, Camino, and so on, they also need to be audited and properly secured. So there's a lot of smart contract risk that you're basically accepting for your Bitcoin to work. The only alternative you would have is either don't hold any Bitcoin and use another token on Solana natively for DeFi activities, or if you want to hold your Bitcoin, use Bitcoin native decentralized finance products, which are also a thing. But I don't know. I'm not so bullish on them. They also saw some hype, but then cooled off drastically. So right now, the Bitcoin, how did they call this industry even? The Bitcoin kind of DApp ecosystem is obviously not as sophisticated as everything else because it is not a smart contract blockchain. You can't really build apps on Bitcoin, and everything that has been done so far are workarounds. And I don't know if that's how you want to do decentralized finance. So yeah, just some takes.
I think it's pretty. I hadn't really thought about that, and now that you mention it, I feel kind of dumb because it makes so much sense, right? If you want to use BTC because we have so many cool DeFi applications now, and all tokens are being used in very interesting ways, and Bitcoin does have kind of a lack of DeFi experience to it, right? It's very much just spot or leverage, but. Yeah, on Solana though, there's all kinds of cool things that you can do with it, right? And this next, go ahead. Sorry,
I just want to say, I think what we now need to see is just more utility for the ZBTC, right? I don't want to just hold it on Solana. That's not the point. I want to use it in DeFi apps, right? So I'm kind of curious of what's happening. Where is it going to be integrated? Am I going to, put it in Camino or something to do something? I don't know if it's already there. You can check it out, guys. But I think for now, you can at least do the bridging. There will probably be some kind of points campaign or something. So it might be good to hold some ZBTC in Apollo. Never know what happens in crypto. But let's see where it takes us. Anyway, what else, What else?
This next topic, look, don't get mad at me. I added this topic. I wanted to know what you're doing with Kairos, because we haven't caught up in the new year. So I want you to tell me what is this? What's going on here?
For sure. So what we do at Solana ID right now is we're shipping a few perks to people that participated in our early adopter proof of concept product, right? So if you are a priority pass holder, which might be, then you can actually claim some of those perks. We're shipping a few more this week, a few more next week. So there's a few more coming before the actual Solana ID beta goes live, where people can create their Solana ID, because the Priority Pass is a closed project. But if you held a Priority Pass, last week we announced a perk with Kairos, which is a restaking platform on Solana, which is actually a pretty cool product. On Kairos, you can put your Solana to work. They're essentially using Jito below their tech stack, and you can get up to a pretty juicy APY. It starts with 8.4% just by holding KY Sol, which is their LST. But obviously, you can also add KY Sol and Jito Sol into a Camino pool to almost double that APY as well. Even though I have to say right now, I think the limit of Kairos is reached. So people won't be able to deposit right now at this moment, if I'm not mistaken. But I heard some voices from the team that this might change. And then with the Priority Pass, basically what you see right now on the screen, if you're watching this video, then you will get some extra XP for their points campaign. So if you're a Kairos user with Priority Pass, you're just having an even better experience, which is the whole point of Solana ID. Use the DApps that you love, just get more value out of it by being an ID holder. So you get up to a 4 XP boost, which is their point system of the Villager Quest. Villager Quest is what their points system is called. And obviously that might translate in some tangible value in the future.
I also think that this might be fairly obvious to people who are already in the Solana ID community, but less obvious to folks that aren't. The reason why protocols want to work with you and give these really nice benefits to your Priority Pass holders is because they're verified like personhood. That this is a real person. It's not a bot. It's human being who's really interested in your specific protocol. And these are particularly the types of people that you want to make sticky, and you want them to keep returning back to your platform, because otherwise,
To add on that, sorry to cut you off, but very important point. Proof of personhood is kind of the lower layer of everything. But then on top of that, it's about data associated with these ID holders that gives you more certainty about the stickiness, about the contributions that they make, right? You want to get the right customers. So Kairos is a great example because they ship the best perk to Priority Pass holders in tier 1, which is a very exclusive tier that you could only reach by holding a certain Discord roles, being core contributors to Solana ID, having a KYC check through a SEX with a ZK proof, and so on. So those are like the creme de la creme of the users we have right now. That the top tier, the top 1%. Is it 1%? Not really, a couple percent. But these people get the biggest XP boost in Kairos. Right? So that's just a case study example of how the system works. The better your data backpack, the more perks you get on chain. So it's all about leveraging your beautiful reputation that you build in the space. Yep.
I mean, to be clear, I'm not like I'm just a fan of what you guys are working on. It's not like I don't work for you guys. I don't get paid by you guys. I did obviously invest a bit in the Solid token, but that's bags aside. I still think it makes a lot of sense. Like as a protocol, like you want to, because Web3 users are so valuable and hard to come by, quite frankly, right? So when you find a keeper, you want to keep them.
That's a basic rule in life.
Yes.
Anyway, what else are we looking at?
So we have two different, I guess, like token announcement or hints at announcements.
It's pretty clear.
Depending. So the boys over at VSOL. So shout out to my boy Cryptic, C2. The Vault, they have VSOL, and apparently, if you stake the Sol, then you're earning points or towards earning. I don't know what did they even hint at what the token name would be?
It's token name, not really. But what you can do is you can accumulate VPTS points. So they're already there in the product. They're even on chain. They're on chain points. You can literally sell and buy them. So 80,000 points right now are worth $100. That was on the 4th of January, so 2 days ago. And the two simple ways you can earn those points is either by staking Sol or by being an active community participant. Not entirely sure how that works, how the system behind that works, but that's also a possibility. And obviously, if you have a point system in your DApp, there is some reward attached to it. They didn't say yet if it's going to be a token, but chances are high. So Justy Sol, who's doing a lot of kind of airdrop research and news on Twitter, says that there might be an airdrop in Q1 this year, and you need to accumulate the VPTS points to get your hands on them. The vault is just a stake pool on Solana, by the way, for everyone who doesn't know. You can provide liquidity or basically use Solana to get VSOL, and then you can obviously use that LST as well on places like Camino and so on to stake your or to make use of the VSOL.
So there's another token launcher announcement too, which is SolLayer, right? They got the Layer token and also Season 1. You want to tell us more about what SolLayer is up to, buddy?
For sure. I mean, that's pretty exciting because that is literally a token announcement. So there's a big article out. We're seeing it on the screen right now. Introducing the SolLayer Foundation, the Layer token, and Season 1 inside of the SolLayer product. So SolLayer itself is a novel Solana restaking standard, and they've been around now for a while. I think 2024 was a big year for them. And well, they got $350 million+ in restaked assets, 190,000 unique depositors, and a pretty high, juicy native staking APY for users, which is why they get so much traction, I would say. And then they also launched the SUSD, which is an interesting product, probably for you as well. The first fully permissionless yield-bearing stablecoin, backed by a basket of T-bills. What do you think about SUSD, by the way? Do you have any kind of opinion on the token, or did you kind of play around with it? Are you holding it as a stablecoin?
Yeah, so I don't have a problem. Yeah, I don't have a problem with T-bill stablecoins. There's a whole bunch of them out there. USDM is another stablecoin that derives all its yield from treasury bills. My comment has always been that T-bill yield is variable. So during the Obama years, treasury bill yield was like close to 0%. So all these stablecoins that are collateralized just by T-bills, they won't look so sexy, when we're lowering interest rates. But also Obama years was historic lows, so we'll probably not go back down to at near zero rates. But that being said, not entirely sure what's going to happen with the U.S. dollar. Are we going to continue to pay our debts? Is the Department of Government Efficiency finally going to make the U.S. dollar stronger? We shall see. It's all in the future.
Makes sense. They also say at Solera that season 1 is basically starting with the token launch, and the distribution of the layer token will take place over 3 phases. And the first phase is Solera season 1, and it focuses on 3 categories: Solera staking, then SUSD participants, and then whitelisted ecosystem partners. And ecosystem partners are currently mainly Radium, Camino, Orca, Meteora, Safe, and Margin. At least that's where you can put your Sol or SUSD to work. So they might be involved there. But also Sonic is one of the ecosystem partners. They also partnered with Bonk for various things. And I also know that my friend BM from Adrastea Finance is also having an LRT on Adrastea that is based on Solera, where you can get the LRTS Sol on Adrastea and put this to work. So lots of stuff happening. Pretty cool that we see some tangible utility tokens launching now that are actually having a lot of substance, with the Vault being one of them potentially, and Layer definitely being one of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're going to move on a little bit from Solana news. I know this is a Solana podcast, but we do talk a little bit about Bitcoin price action and such. This next one is about another notorious Korean, not to be confused with myself. I have been called Do Kwon on several occasions because I'm Korean and I work on stable coins, but that's all right. But Do Kwon, he was in the middle of this huge extradition fight between the United States and South Korea. Obviously, the Koreans want him because he's a Korean citizen, and also had some business in Korea in the past. The Americans want him because a lot of retail investors who lost their money, were Americans. It's really interesting to me though, because Terra Labs was not an American company. They weren't specifically targeting US customers, even though they did accept them. It's not that I mind that he's going to trial. I just find it strange that the United States has any jurisdiction here, and that South Korea, literally his home country, loses the extradition battle. That's quite strange to me.
It is crazy. It's just a symbol of the power US has, right? Like if they want something, they usually get it. In this world, it remains the largest nation in terms of political involvement in the world in all kinds of things. So if it's right or wrong, no opinion on that. But it's definitely a bit strange. And what do you think about the fact that he kind of refused to accept most of the things that people wanted to put on him? I think he literally said that he's not, he didn't do it. That's basically what I saw in the news sometimes.
So I have really unpopular opinions right here. And no, it's not fucking because he's Korean. Relax, guys. All right. It's like I don't feel some weird brotherhood towards this man I've never met. And also I've met folks who, I mean, as a Korean, being in the Korean ecosystem, I've met plenty of people who have worked at Terraform Labs. And they have some very nasty stories that they tell about him. He was just as big of an asshole in real life as he was online. So I'm not defending him, as a person. But that being said, the token functioned as specified in the white paper So really the real crime here is the design, right? So the design was bad. And also the real crime here is retail kind of aped into it. And this is before because really, right? Terra Luna was the end of the last cycle. So it led to this cascade of liquidations. Celsius, 3AC, FTX. I mean, like just the list goes on and on and on. Yeah. Right. Copper, I think. Is Copper still around? I don't remember. Anyways, my point being is that he's kind of responsible for a lot of that. But I don't know if he deserves to go to jail over it. I don't really know. What do you think, Simon? What do you think if someone designs something improperly and then people don't really do their due diligence, all ape into it?
It's a real tough question for the whole legal apparatus here. Not gonna lie. Obviously they have to put some head on the table, for as the responsible person here, for what happened. And I think that's what it comes down to, right? They like, he just has to accept that even if it doesn't sound fair, at the end, the way it played out, he's the guy who led everything, and who's the CEO of the company, who was responsible for the things they said, the things they designed. And even if he didn't know about flaws initially that are in the paper, in the code, and so on, no one gives a shit, really. At the end of the day, life's not fair always. So I think that's literally what happened here. Again, right or wrong, difficult. It's an ethical question here, a legal ethical question. But I think similar to SBF, we have to point the finger at someone, and those guys were just the ones that they headed everything. I think also that SBF didn't see what was coming, and didn't really. I don't think these people had bad intentions to start with. That's an assumption that I want to put out here. While right now in crypto, we have a lot of people that actually have very bad intentions when starting something, and they don't go to jail. So, like I said, life's not fair always, but it's also a different world today than back then.
Yeah, and to be clear, the specific design choice that was a very bad idea was to collateralize UST with its own governance token, right? Because if the bottom falls out from your governance token, then what does that mean for your collateralization levels? It means that you're under collateralized, right? So what some people forget is towards the end, I think that he knew that something was wrong internally. He obviously wasn't communicating that publicly, but towards the end, he was heavily promoting Bitcoin. And the reason for this was because he realized that using an endogenous asset, his own governance token, for collateralization is a fucking dumb idea. And he trying to collateralize it all with Bitcoin. And now that we see the current state of Bitcoin, motherfucker was this close to actually pulling it off, right? Like if the rug hadn't pulled, if the governance token price had held, and if he was able to buy like enough Bitcoin to collateralize UST, like this might be a very different world. Like he could still be shit posting on Twitter. So it's just kind of wild that that's how that played out, right?
That's life, It's random. It's a lot of randomness and decisions we make day to day. That's what happened. That's what brings us to where we are now. Anyway,
what was the thing that you said earlier? It's when token price goes down, your investors, the KOLs, the community, no one's going to come to save you.
Don't give a shit. Yeah, no one gives a shit. That they all, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we all fucking ignorant motherfuckers that are just want to save our own backs, right? Most of humans are like this. It is somehow installed in our system to kind of survive. It's a survival instinct. That's what it comes down to. So no one's going to save you if you fuck up. So
Cool. And I think the last thing that we want to bring up for today is our boy Sock, who we met over in Dubai, had a tweet that went viral recently. Solana on Coinbase now takes apparently 7 minutes to transfer funds. I think this is up from 4 minutes. I think previously I had said 40 minutes, which was completely erroneous, but it was 4 or 3 minutes, and now it's up to 7, which is just funny.
That's actually what he said. It's get funny and funny every day. The screenshot is also perfect. You see Ethereum 3 minutes, Base 17 seconds. You're like, great, perfect. And Solana 7. Like, what the fuck? Why would it be so slow? But can you give just 1 or 2 sentences of context to this? I think you know more about it than myself in terms of what is why is that the case, first of all, and then is Coinbase doing anything to resolve it, or what's happening here?
Yeah, apparently it's a top priority, but they've been saying that for months now, so I don't really know.
It's going up.
Is it really a top priority? I mean, I'm seeing a bunch of tweets about people pulling their funds from Coinbase, which is the only way that they're going to listen, right? If traders decide to move into to Kraken or to Gemini or whatever the hell, then that'll talk. They'll look at the metrics and be like, oh, we should probably fix whatever. And I saw an explanation online from someone on the base team that claimed it was some mixture of technical debt, some issues internally that they need to work on. Seems to be speaking in good faith, so you know I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But fix your shit, bro.
Is that a good closing statement? You know, fix your shit, bro. Get your shit together. Make this year a good year, guys. Be
Solana.
Honest, genuine people.
It's 2025. Fix your shit.
Yeah, it's a good slogan. Actually, it's a good motto for 2025.
Yes.
Cool. You know, we call it a day.
Yeah, we'll call it a day. Always love talking with you every week. This week was a little slow because of all the New Year shit. But I think going forward, it's going to be a banger 2025.
It is. And I think I mean, you say it's slow. We still made a 50-minute podcast. So there was enough to talk about. So for everyone who's listening to our podcast every single week, we're recording these every week, every Monday. Usually they happen around 9 p.m. CET, 9 a.m. CET. Usually a bit later than that, we are on a live stream, so people can also join these podcast sessions live. Right now, we have 150 people that are with us just tuning in the live stream. So feel free to do that. But you can also obviously consume this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, or you can even watch our YouTube videos with face and with recording of our screens, which makes it even a bit more tangible. So wherever you are right now, however you're watching this or listening to it, thanks for being a part of it. Soul Brothers is just getting started. You will see much more stuff happening in the past weeks. We're working on some really nice things for you. But you can be certain of one thing. We're going to show up here every single week to bring and ship the latest news on the Solana ecosystem for you straight from the Soul Brothers. So, yeah, I would say thanks for tuning in.
We just wrapped up episode number 10. I think that's a goddamn milestone. You were the one who told me that if we get to 20, then we'll be in the top 1% of podcasts because 99% of people just stop working on it, right? And so we're halfway there. That's, you know, I think that's a big milestone. 10 is not a small number for a podcast series. I could easily see plenty of folks being like, you do like 2 or 3 of those, and then you go like, it's not worth the time investment. But you know, we're on the grind, and by the end of 2025, you mark my fucking words, not only is Solana going to flip Ethereum, but Soul Brothers will be the #1 Solana podcast in the world. So that's what's happening in 25, bar none.
With that being said, thanks everyone for tuning in, and looking forward to see you guys at the next one when it's time again for Soul Brothers. See you guys. Peace out.
All right. Adios.
Cut for the recording, and we have one guy here who says, Simon, ask him about the Unicorn Blood Gang. What the heck?
What the fuck is that? What? A unicorn blood? Why does it sound so... Oh, shit! Hey, Jai, what's good, bro? Unicorn Blood Gang. No, okay, so... This is a kid I met over in India. I didn't understand what he was saying at first, but then, yeah, right. I used to smoke this juice called. Do I still have it? I don't think I smoke that anymore.
Who smokes juice?
But it's called It's called Rainbow Blood. You know, I used to smoke stuff, and so the kid I met over in India at the Hacker House, and we smoked.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, it's funny who you meet here.
Yeah. Hey man, get that .eth out of your goddamn name. Change it.
.sol. It's .sol, or you can't be part of the Soul Brothers. No, very accepting. Actually, we're very accepting. We don't kick these people out. We want.
No, of course not. So of course not.
Stay around. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Then everyone in the stream, we're also going to wrap that up. You guys have a good day or good evening or good night, wherever you are. And we see you at the next one. I'm going to end this.
Adios.
Peace out, everyone. Adios. Ciao, Steve.